Hey guys, it's MazeMan112, and today I'm going to be trying to answer the question of, will Black Ops 2 be the last big game in the Call of Duty franchise? So let's go ahead and try to solve this question. The first thing I'm going to go ahead and take a look at is how well Call of Duty has done the entire lifespan of the 360. Call of Duty 2 was available upon launch. It wasn't the biggest title, and it wasn't until 2007 when Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out that the entire franchise really stepped it up and took it to the next level. Before this time, most of the Call of Duty games were not geared towards the multiplayer platform. They were geared towards the single-player campaign. Modern Warfare completely revolutionized the way people looked at multiplayer engagement. And it was this big advancement in game style and gameplay that really propelled them to the forefront. So when the new systems, the new consoles come out, they're going to have a step up on the rest of the competition because they already have that client base. But the big question is, will they be able to maintain it? And will someone be able to come through the pack, work their ways up, and just sweep everybody off their feet? The big question is, what games will be available at launch of the new systems for both the Sony and Microsoft systems? I imagine that Call of Duty will be on there just because they're such a big player, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they will stay on top of the heap, because it's not always the person who's first to the party that, you know, creates most action. It's the person who knows how to best utilize the system, the platform, to its fullest capabilities. And generally this can take, you know, a couple years of messing around with this new coding systems, the new platform, the new capabilities it is, that they fully understand and fully can utilize it. So there could be a game that comes out of nowhere two or 3 years down into the lifespan of the next Xbox and Sony, or Sony platforms, that just completely revamps everything and revolutionizes gameplay. The question is, will Call of Duty be that game? So I'm going to go ahead and look at this on both sides. First thing I'm going to go look at is, yes, that Call of Duty will be the game, the staple of the next platform of consoles. I'm going to go ahead and the first thing I'm going to look at, as I touched on earlier, is the fan base. Call of Duty's fan base is gigantic. And not only are they gigantic, they are two things that are crucial for any kind of gaming. They are passionate and they are vocal. If you look at how passionate they are, you have Call of Duty fanboys, I'm going to call them, who will wait in line for hours on end to get the game at a midnight release. And not only are they waiting in hours on end, they are dressed up in ghillie suits and camouflage and riot gear, playing the characters. They are just very passionate. I don't want to say that it's Star Wars-esque or Star Trek-esque, but it seems like the fans of Call of Duty and the gaming are taking it to the next level that you would only see really designated for movies in the past. And not only are they passionate and vocal, but they are very persistent. These fans will constantly be letting the community know what they're looking for, and are constantly giving feedback, not always in a positive light. Yes, you have a lot of what you would call trolls, but they are constantly giving feedback, and developers love that feedback because it lets them know what they could tweak, what they could fix to give the best product to the consumer. The next thing that helps Call of Duty is that they have the growing gaming community. The community in general for gamers is growing every year per generation. We are a generation of people who grew up playing games. This is our hobby. This is our pastime, is playing video games, and we're going to do that as we go on through, the journey of our life. As you see, I've seen statistics that say that your average, video game purchaser is in their 40s. I don't know if that is a true, demographic, or if that is a true number, just because you have a lot of people who are buying video games for their children, or if those people are buying video games for themselves. I'd be interested to see how that got broken down, but the gaming community is going to be growing with each year, and you're going to be picking up that new person. So the trick is, for Call of Duty, would be, you already kind of have that segment that has been playing, since some of us since Modern Warfare 2. Most people kind of jumped on with the Modern Warfare 4, and they're going to continue to add on to that segment every year. So the trick is going to be grabbing that younger audience. It was this younger audience that Call of Duty really was able to grab onto that made them so successful. Now, if you guys have heard the saying that Call of Duty is easy to learn but hard to master, and that truly, is a true saying. This is what got most of the people into it. A lot of people weren't hardcore gamers at the time. They were, basically casual gamers. And you could take someone who had a little bit of familiarity with the controller, and they were able to step right into the game and step right in and were able to do all right and not completely be dominated. But like I said, it's easy to learn, so yes, you can learn controls, you know how to shoot your gun, you know how to throw your grenades, your secondaries and everything like that, but it's very difficult to master. And it takes hours to master this. And that's what makes it so addicting, is the game has such a high replayability. But it is this younger demographic that's going to lead me into my counterpoint of why I don't think that Call of Duty will be the biggest game in the next system. So let's go ahead and start the counterpoint. The first thing for the counterpoint we're going to go ahead and look at is that Call of Duty is almost ran its course. Yes, every game seems to outsell the next one, but people are always looking for something different. This is just human nature. Humans are always looking for the next, best thing, the next greatest thing, the next thing on the line of evolution. And I just have a feeling that the game that's going to overtake it is something that is going to be more futuristic. Call of Duty tends to be more of a realistic simulation of war. You don't have these overpowered shields. You don't have these super soldiers who are just way bigger than the average human, that are able to jump, run faster. You have these average soldiers, and I mean, it really only takes a couple bullets to kill somebody. If you were to look at a game that is more futuristic, where you have these advanced shields, these armors and stuff like that on, where stick skill takes the forefront, and that's where I think Call of Duty is really lacking. It's not always the best player who's going to win the gunfight in Call of Duty. In Call of Duty, it tends to be the first person to see the other person, which is good. You've heard a lot of people say you have to control the engagement, and that is really what makes the people that are a level above most players in Call of Duty where they're at, is that they're able to control the engagement. You're not going to win face-to-face gunfights consecutively in a row like you would if you are sneaking up behind the person, if you are controlling the engagement. That's just the big thing. And it just seems like a lot of people, it's frustrating for them that they have better stick skills but are unable to stop that lucky person, the person who just shoots you with an RPG or something like that, or is throwing grenades across the map. That can be very frustrating for a more skilled player. And that's why when you see the MLG, they have to tone down Call of Duty, and it's almost a bare bones, completely different game than it normally is. And competitive gaming is going to be in the leading edge of the gaming in the future. People want to see this as entertainment, and Call of Duty is just not providing that entertainment for them. If it's to the point where they have to change the gameplay around, it just doesn't meet their format. And this format is the reason why I don't think that Call of Duty is going to make it as the next biggest game on the next platform. They were really unwilling to change or to support the game the way they were needed to with Modern Warfare for MLG, and they were just unwilling to change with the times. Let me know what you guys think, if you guys think Call of Duty will be, the game in the next generation of consoles, or if you think something else is going to go ahead and overtake it. Let me know if you think it's a game that's already out there, or a smaller title, or if it's, an old game that's going to be revamped and brought back to the forefront. If you guys have any questions or concerns, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.